Well, I am excited. One of the things that each and every one of us wants to do is get our message out there. We want to get it out there so that the qualified right clients, the right customers that we can serve and really make a huge difference in their lives are attracted to us. Well, I have a remarkable entrepreneur with us today, and I know she is. She came strongly recommended by one of the top gurus in the country, and you're going to be hearing a lot about her going forward. But right today, you have her. And I wrote a pretty good-sized check to have her hang out with us at Global Headquarters for the largest campaign that we are ever doing. And the insights that were provided were amazing. So you want to stay tuned. You don't want to miss us because this is all about accelerating your success. And Shelby's going to help you tremendously. I'm John Bowen. We're at AES Nation. And let's go make a difference together. Stay tuned.
Ordinary success? No way. You want amazing, remarkable, exceptional breakthroughs. Dig deep, think bold, drive hard, watch yourself soar beyond your dreams. AESNation.com.
I am so excited that you're here with me. You know, even if it's virtual, it's not quite as good as when we were hanging out together. But I wanted to, before everybody should know, before I let Shelby leave, I made her schedule a time because I wanted to share. She's doing so much and making such a big difference and really helping us tremendously. So thank you, Shelby.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me out to your house a couple of weeks ago. Love working with you on your launch and your product. Super exciting. I felt like I learned as much from you as you learned from me. So big wins.
This is what's great about working with fellow entrepreneurs is that we're constantly learning together. And particularly in today's world, there's so much change going on. We need a little help from our friends along the way. And that's what AES Nation is all about. And what I'd like to do, I mean, you've got some great life lessons, and we're going to get into some real specificity that are going to help people really accelerate their success dramatically. But, I'd love to have you, Shelby, share, how did you kind of, you are a guru. There are less women gurus out there. I mean, I have, unfortunately, less entrepreneurs that I have the privilege of interviewing. And you would be a guru no matter what gender. But, it's a different road a little bit, too. And I'd love to have you share, though, how did you get to where you are, playing with, the big players online as well as with, real brick and mortar businesses and helping them accelerate their success?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's journey is so unique and mine's no less unique, but I actually got started in 2007. And at the time, John, it's funny, I didn't know I was starting a business. All I really wanted was to help stay-home moms be able to legitimately work from home so that they could provide better opportunities for their families while staying with them if they so choose to, right? So I thought, I started freelance writing and a lot of women were asking me, how can I do this? So I thought I'm going to start a little outsourcing company. I'll outsource moms. It'll be cute. And it took off like gangbusters. And I had no idea that was going to happen. And people were asking me to write on SEO and internet marketing, and I didn't even know what any of these words meant. So I started going to conferences and learning about these things so that I could write about them. And, over time, as I learned why people were ordering content, we turned into an SEO firm and then became a full-scale digital marketing agency now known as Intentional Media. And, it has been just such a great journey of learning and stepping forward as the opportunities came and making mistakes and owning them and moving forward again. But definitely my heart is in digital marketing, sales funnels, understanding Google algorithms, and really because I love helping people achieve their dreams. And the reality is, in a digital world, if you don't know how to get your vision in front of the right people, it's going to be very hard to get it off the ground. And so it's my pleasure to be part of that.
Well, no, thank you. And I mean, you're very instrumental. I mean, I was watching, we videoed the whole day because it was so valuable. And so often it's that outside look, Shelby, that is important because, many of our our viewers and listeners at AES Nation, have great businesses. And, the temptation is, geez, well, we already got the talent here. Well, having that outside, and that's where every once in a while doing that, and in some cases doing it even more. But, lessons learned. One of the areas that I'd like to focus on is this whole concept of trust in yourself. And, you and I, both when we were working together and then really just talking about it, before we turned on the cameras, this is something that, as an entrepreneur, if you're not insecure, you can't be an entrepreneur, because so many things go wrong. And, sometimes I think we get paid just to put up with all this stuff. But it's trust in yourself is a very important mindset that's been important to you. Maybe, share with your fellow entrepreneurs why that is so important.
I will give you a really great example that for a long time I didn't talk about because I felt ashamed of it, and I no longer do. And we started our company in 2007, and my company made its first $1 million in 2009. And I thought, this is great. We're going to be rich forever. The economy turned. It didn't affect us because everybody needs to monetize their online arm. This is fabulous. Well, in 2000,
let me just stop for a second for the rest of the group. Everyone I know remembers 2009, and I'm a financial guy, so 2008, 2009, there was a little downturn in the market. Okay,
yeah.
So I want everybody to go back there to ride along with you, Shelby. So
yes.
What's going on now?
Right. So everything started to tank in 2008, but our business just thrived. I thought, this is fabulous. By 2011, we lost everything. We lost our house. We lost everything because during that time, at first I was right. Everybody did know they had to monetize their online arm. But when things got tighter and tighter, that was the time, if those of you who were following digital marketing, everybody started outsourcing over to India and the Philippines because it was a lot cheaper. And here I had 200 people, US-based moms, veterans, disabled individuals mostly, that were my staff. And I had to make a decision. And my intuition said, okay, yes, you have a small team in Sri Lanka that you can build up. You can shut down your US-based team. And that would have been the smarter thing to do. That's what every advisor was telling me to do. And I just intrinsically felt that Google would not allow that type of outsourcing to thrive long term. And I had put all of my intellectual property and training into these US-based teams. Plus, it was part of my true vision is to always supply these legitimate work at home opportunities, right? So I had to take a huge gamble. And that gamble cost me my house. But you know what? It was the right decision. When everything turned around and everybody came back, I was sitting beautifully. I had all my talent still. I followed the crisis. I knew how to thrive on top of Google when other people were still trying to figure it out. And that was a really great example of when, it's really great and fluffy to say trust in yourself, but I put my revenue, my business, my reputation on trusting in myself in that moment. And it didn't feel like it in 2011, like it was going to pay off, right? But it did. And so that's just, if you're going to step as an entrepreneur, you have to be prepared to trust in yourself and own your decisions, good or bad. Trusting in yourself doesn't mean you're not going to have what I like to call unintentional nonprofits. But things will not always go well, but you have to be comfortable in your skin and authentic and own your decisions and be proud of them. And so that's a huge life lesson for me.
Yeah, no, it was for me too, Shelby, during that period, because what I did, and one of the things I've always done is when there's a downturn, you expand into it because almost everybody's hunkering down. Right. Well, the problem with this one was that it lasted a little longer than most. And so you got to be prepared for this. You've got to manage it. But it's that confidence that you have in yourself, and quite honestly, I have in myself and my team that we expanded into it. We had to kind of slow down a little bit, and we took a 45% drop in revenue. And I've fortunately had a number of businesses, so I had the capital. My wife and I were the venture capitalists, so we were okay funding it. But there were a few times over dinner and a glass of wine that we said, maybe this isn't the right decision. But it's that gut, and then the experience that comes out of these. You don't wish them on anybody, but it does happen. That's for sure. Well, let's go to the next step, because I think this is one that I think is probably one of the most critical. You call it trust in your guide, and what do you mean by it, Shelby?
Yeah, so trust in your guides. And this sounds a little contradictory to what I just said, because I said everyone advising me was telling me to do this, but they were also telling me this is what you think you should do. But if you know, no one knows your industry and your business better than you. If you know, it's okay to make that gamble, right? So trust in your guides means I do not believe that anyone's entrepreneur journey is a solo journey. Even if they're a sole proprietor, I do not believe anyone has a solo journey. And who you choose to surround yourself with, and more importantly, who you trust to guide you in different areas of your life and your business, is critical. I absolutely 100% could not get to where I am today, nor will I get to where I'm going to be in a year, in 10 years, in 20 years, without choosing very, very good guides and trusting in them and weighing their feedback and combining that with trusting in myself, right? So my top two things in my mantra, well, three really: trusting God, trusting myself, trusting my guides. Those are just so important. I just can't even say enough about Yannick Silver and some of the other mentors that have been with me and guiding me through the ups and downs that have just made all the difference for me.
It really is. And we were talking about this over dinner when we were together. And I would have never found you had I not had some of my guides. And I'm a big believer in mastermind groups, and just so many people: Dan Sullivan, Joe Polish. Yannick, I have a less experience with, but we were in a Dan Sullivan's coaching class together, and Jeff Walker, and all these other individuals, that it's just been so powerful to really get their advice along the way. And and it still has to be. I mean, trust in yourself is so important. I know in the beginning there was a kind of a mistake I made that was fairly expensive. I go, okay, you say to do that, you're the expert, go do it. You gotta have that balancing act. But Shelby, that's one of the reasons why I wanted you to come out, because of your expertise in the digital agency, to really be that guide and having that sounding post. And you really redirected us, and the whole team. And we've got pretty successful multi-businesses, and that little turn, it was like, oh, blindingly obvious. We missed it, but it was only through bringing out a really good guy to help us.
I love that saying, you can't read your label from inside the bottle. Right? So even though I'm a digital marketing expert on my own digital marketing, I have to get my team to tell me what to do. I'm too inside of the bottle. And so I just think that that's the case. And, a lot of humility comes with that, right? I mean, letting other people tell you, you're doing this wrong, look at this differently. And it's just so important.
Well, it is. And I think one of the mistakes we make so often is that, particularly it's a guy thing, I'm going to say, is that, we have to be that real smart, the smartest guy in the room. And, you really don't want to be. I mean, you want to have a lot smarter people around you, and particularly have walked the path ahead. It doesn't mean that, they're going to make it so that there's no big boulders in the way along the way, but it's going to make a huge difference. And this is all about, in today's world, the ability to accelerate our success is so high. Now, one of the things that we're doing right now, Shelby, and then this is based on your recommendations, and I'm a big believer, and this was number 3 when we were putting the list together, your insights, was testing everything. And I got to say, why don't you, because I love this one. This is, to me, I'm a strongly opinionated guy. I got a team of strongly opinionated people. We now no longer debate. We just test everything.
Right, exactly. And, take action and test everything really can be applied in every facet of every type of business. But in my business, in digital marketing, I can't even imagine calling myself a professional if we weren't testing, because it doesn't matter how much I understand Google algorithms or how good my professional experience is. You have to put rubber to cement and show the results, right? And when you think something's great, you run forward with that campaign, and it's not quite getting the conversions you want, you need to already know what your plan B, C is going to be to move it into test. You can't say, oh, that didn't take off as well as we want. What should we do now? Oh, it's going to take a week to get those landing pages or funnels in place or whatever, right? And so I am like you in the fact that the conversation is pointless in my world. The conversation is pointless. You just have to test everything. And, I didn't understand that early on. And digital marketing has changed along the way. So it was kind of okay for a while. But now I say put the testing where your mouth is and go. Show it works.
Well, and one of the mistakes I think we make as entrepreneurs with digital marketing particularly is that, if you're using email marketing, you think, well, there's almost no cost of sending an email, so let's send a whole bunch of emails and, eventually something will work. And the reality is if we can get, test it, we don't want to have fatigue of our list. One of the campaigns, really, Shelby, you helped us on, and we're going to be making, probably 100,000 phone calls next month. Okay, there's a cost associated. I mean, I got to pick up the phone and, dial 100,000 times. And the emails, and there's a risk with that, and it's a campaign that we've never done before. Well, what's easy to do? Just test. We're going to test. And you can test really small. The same with, one of the big things so many of the entrepreneurs are doing now, and you're helping them do that, is this whole concept of, so many of the bricks and mortar, old guys like me, I'm 61, and, you're not using technology, social media is not a big thing. And I really took great pride in being a thought leader, and we didn't have to do any advertising. Well, now I'm spending a fair amount of money on advertising, but we just started with, you start with $50 a day and you can really test. So, what's been so beautiful is the ability to test for next to nothing anymore.
Right. And I think, part of a part B to this is that I'm famous for saying it is almost more important to me that my clients and I are using the same measuring stick to measure success than it is whatever we're actually doing for them. Because if you think success is one thing and I think success is another, I could blow it out of the water. And to you, it's a huge failure, right? And so I can remember even when we were talking about your email campaigns and your phone calls, I remember stopping and saying, wait, well, what's a win? What's bad? When do you know that's not okay? And we had a conversation about that because of the costs associated, right? And so I'm like, when do you test that out? And what do you go to if that doesn't work? And we talked through some of those things, and my thinking along doing that is it's test everything, but on top of that, are we all using the same measuring stick to measure success? Because that's critical, not only from a client vendor relationship, but even your team members, right? It's going to be a bummer if you think your team is failing you and they think they're winning because they're using different markers, right? So it's another part of it.
Well, and I think this is one of the things too, as we do more and more of this. I always like the concept from direct mail of a control, so that if you're doing repeat campaigns, you now know what is the ROI, the return on investment you're going to have for whatever activity you're doing on marketing, acquiring clients, and so on. And what we can do is we can go ahead and really bring in either our team or external teams to really have the control. I always like the term control is the enemy. How can we improve it? And that becomes really big. That has worked very well for us, going back and forth like that.
Yeah, I really, it's a very, very delicate, interesting thing. And when I say test everything, I mean everything. Is it the landing page is not converting? Are you getting the wrong traffic there? Is your messaging not hitting the right intention? you just have to test everything. But man, once you find that magic formula, it's worth it.
Well, what I like, this is, I always think of digital marketing when it works, and I've only had a few that have really worked well, but it's almost like the magic slot machine. You put in $1, you get $2 back.
The ATM. We're building ATMs.
Most of us would stay at that slot machine for a long time.
Yes.
Okay, so we got trust in yourself, going ahead and really trust in your guide, and testing everything. And these are so important. What I also like, and this is, I'm going to put up your website for a second here, is, the fourth is really the name of the company, is being intentional in everything you do, intentional media. And why is that so important, Shelby?
This has actually become my mantra, and Intentional Media is a newer agency. We actually merged our organic SEO firm with a company that's the best in the world at what they do on the paid side and created Intentional Media. And my keynote that I give all over the world is called Intentional Marketing. And it's now in the digital marketing sense, and I could do a whole thing just on this, it's algorithmically required. And I gave you a blog post there that I believe is in the resources for the people listening. They can read about this a little bit that I wrote, since we don't have time to cover it all here.
Yeah, let me pull it up on the screen, and why don't we just touch on it? And the idea is, this understanding Google algorithms. What are we talking about here?
Right. So, previous to more current times, people had a lot of experience with Panda, Penguin, and these different algorithms that shook up the digital world a little bit. But when Hummingbird came along, I don't even like to think of Hummingbird as an algorithm change. It's the first time since 2001 that Google...
I'm going to stop you, Shelby, because there's some other people like me. When you start talking Penguin and Hummingbird and all these other things, I only know a tiny bit. What are we talking about?
Oh, it's super nerdy on you.
Yeah.
Right. So algorithms are Google's way.
And you don't look like a nerd, so you got to be careful on this stuff here.
I bait and switch on you.
Yes.
Yeah, so an algorithm, simply put, is Google's way of deciphering through the content and honestly deciding what to put in front of the searcher. I encourage people to think of Google like a giant membership site, because the people that search on Google are the people that Google is making money off of. So if they're not getting answers to the questions they're asking, they're going to stop using you, or they're going to stop being appreciative, or they're going to look elsewhere. So it's very important to Google to get the right information on the first page for any search term. Well, when I say intention is now algorithmically required, for the first time since 2001, Google rewrote its search algorithms. And on this blog post, when you scroll down a few of them, there is a video where I do use a verbal search, because there's certain algorithms turned on in verbal search that aren't yet in text. And it will show you how Google is now chaining searches together in order to figure out the intention of the buyer. So we can create campaigns and structures that save thousands and thousands of dollars in marketing simply by understanding the intention of the buyer. So from a really nerdy marketing standpoint, buyer intent is not something new. It being an algorithmic requirement is something new. But the reason I called this a life lesson and not just a marketing lesson is because I have learned that life is precious and life is short, and you should have intention behind everything you're doing. Why are you doing it? Don't chase the shiny object. Don't get caught up in the BS and drama that's around you. Be intentional. When you hire people, what's their intention to work for you? Why are they doing what they're doing? Why are you working with your clients? Why are you selling the products that you're doing? Every decision you make, I just believe now that intention is the heart of everything that I do. Not only is it an algorithmic requirement of the work that I do, but it's now my mantra and how I live my life. I just want every moment to matter. I have 5 children. I don't have time to waste time, right? And then my clients don't have time to waste time either. And so being intentional, it's a huge life lesson for me. And I just have the great benefit of it being part of my nerdy digital work now too.
Yeah, no, well, and you and I, we got talking about this, Shelby, because one of my favorite sayings is being successful on purpose, which was really intentional. It's, we can design our lives to be successful, and so many of us leave too many things to chance. And so, what I love is you're talking both at the high level, kind of our life. We want to design our life to be successful on purpose. We do that by being intentional. But also from a marketing campaign, and really even, and it's going to lower our costs. The more intentional we are, that it's, we can really make the cost, the return on investment so much higher quickly.
And intention in marketing affects everything. I have a weight loss client, and, someone coming because they just lost a baby, had a baby, my goodness, they want to lose weight. So they're postpartum mom, versus a woman like me who's over 40, versus a man who has type 2 diabetes. They all want to lose weight, but the reason is different. They want the same end result, but the reason is different. So you don't talk to the postpartum mom the same way as you talk to the type 2 diabetic man. So if you can understand how to segment your marketing based on the intention, it changes the lead magnets you create, it changes the nurture sequences, the landing pages. If you do direct mail or infomercials, it changes the messaging in that, right? It just is at the heart of everything that we do in marketing. And again, not a new concept, but very new that it actually has algorithmic requirements and an impact in Google. And that's why that's what I keynote on all over the country, because people are still trying to wrap their heads around that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is. I love this, and I want to go to the fifth one, which is one that's easy to be grateful for. Have gratitude, and this getting to know you, Shelby. I know you have. This is something. You and I were talking about how blessed we are, and it doesn't mean that we get out of life unscarred. I mean, you've got some scars, I've got some scars. But why is this so important to you, and you're recommending so strongly to your fellow entrepreneurs?
This is important to me for entrepreneurs because I have not always lived my life with an eye focused always on gratitude. And what I have found is more so than almost anything else I can think of, gratitude affects my mindset. Gratitude affects the filter that I see opportunities through, downfalls through, how I engage with people. It affects my mind. And I believe that our wealth and our brilliance and the link to our path is in our mind. And the thing that I have found that impacts that the most in the most positive way is to always be grateful, to always have gratitude for what's going on around me. And let me tell you, 2011 was not an easy year to have gratitude, but the facts are the facts, and you have to move forward. So you can do it with a mindset that's created by gratitude and positivity and seeing the world through that lens, or you can do it through a bitter, negative mindset. Either way, you're moving forward, but it leads to very different realities, right? And so that's why it's so powerful.
Well, the outcomes are so different. I mean, we've
so
all
different.
Worked with really negative people, and then, and I always think of as the abundance scarcity type mindset. Is the world is just so abundant, and particularly with what we're talking about, digital marketing. I mean, what you can do is just really endless, and the value you can create by connecting the right people together. So as a business person with the services, the products that you have, you can connect using this and really change the world. I mean, I always love Steve Jobs. Just when asked what did he want to do, he go, I just want to put a little dent in the universe. Well, each of us can put that dent in the universe, and we can do it. It's a lot easier to do when we have abundance because we attract abundance. We can ride through. Nobody gets through life unscarred. Nobody gets through life. We know what the end result is, but what we can do is make a huge difference along the way. Shelby, what I'd like to do is let's talk about resources. We're kind of staying at a high level, but I want to, if somebody is, like me, thinking about reaching out to you because whether they want that second opinion or they've got this one big campaign, or where do you guys excel, and how would they go about finding you here in the digital world?
Well, I have three main primary resources. So my original company that I've been with the longest is Content Divas, and we are a content creation and curation company. So all things content marketing related goes there. And that's the blog post that I wrote about the Google algorithms is on there. My agency, we're a full-scale digital marketing agency, is attentional.media, and we merged with Clear Digital, and wow, they are so amazing. For instance, I've never had the pleasure of being able to have Google fly out on their dime and close a client with me because we're in such good standing with Google, right? So we just have this powerful, beautiful agency. So that's where you'd find that. And then lastly, I did publish a book in 2016 through Entrepreneur Press, which is really exciting. Moonlighting on the internet. And that may not be as valuable to people who are a little bit further in their entrepreneurial journey. It was really designed to help people getting started, to cut through all the white noise and get focused on what can really help them provide better resources for their families. But those are probably the three main ways.
Well, I'm going to go over each of them, but I'll go in reverse order. So
okay.
When you look at the book, and I Shelby, you never mentioned this to me when we were together.
I know.
But, I can see for most of the entrepreneurs we're talking with, this isn't something, it's not written to them. But I'll tell you, I get asked all the time, a resource to learn more about how you can do this. And, it could be kids, grandkids, it can be, friends and so on. So just kind of a high level, what is the book? What's who's the perfect audience and what are you looking to do there?
Right. So the book is really designed to help people understand the legitimate paths that are in existence to create legitimate income from home. So the book is really great at covering, cutting through all the white noise. Here's 10 legitimate paths. Here's the basics of what you need to know. And then there's a lot in there on my basic philosophies on marketing and mindset in general. So it's a really great thing to have if you're maybe looking just for the basics, but also if you have people in your life that you would love to share the freedom that you have as being an entrepreneur with, this is a great book to give them.
Excellent. And let's go to, I'll have everything above me is aesnation.com. You can go to, we'll have the transcript, the show notes for all the links and so on. So if you're driving, don't try to write these things down.
Please don't.
Yeah, if you've got 500 pounds of weight you're lifting, stay focused. But, if you're in the video, it's okay to write down, pause and all that. But, and reaching out, is your main business is intentional media now, and how would somebody, what can you guys best serve? What would be the best part, and how do they reach out to you?
Right, so you can reach me at Shelby at intentional.media. Also, our website has ways to contact us. Now, our ideal client, we are a holistic digital marketing agency, so we can provide pretty much anything you're looking for. But my favorite clients are the ones that come to us and want us to consult with them and really evaluate the market, find the intention in their buying segments, and just push their vision and their dreams and their products out into the digital space in a way that just drastically increases their bottom line and work with their branding to match that. So I love those full service clients. But beside that, obviously we can serve on an individual basis, PPC campaigns or SEO or social media services. We have all the a la carte menus, but my greatest pleasure is when I get to really get my arms around someone's business and push it forward.
And I know I'll date myself by using the term roll up the sleeves, but when we were working together, you definitely rolled up your sleeves and we dove in and because it's so important. So often you can, I've worked with a number of gurus, big names in the industry, and what happens sometimes, they're getting it down to the really putting the systems in place, the specificity, the detail, attention to detail, so that you can actually make it work and have it repeatable is just so important. And that's one of the skills I think, Shelby, you really have. So I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
Well, let me go to the last segment, and this is key takeaways. And I just want to kind of review what we talked about it, because this is so important. And, trusting in yourself. In today's world, there's so much noise out there, and it's easy to get distracted. However, whatever your spiritual belief, somehow somebody wired you to come up with some really good knowledge, or you wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be with Shelby and I on this podcast. And so trust in yourself. Now, I'm kind of I always like the quote from Reagan, trust but verify. And this is why I like number 2 is trust in your guide. If everybody's telling you you're wrong and they've walked the path ahead of you, reconsider, okay? And then the third part Shelby shared, which is really important, but that doesn't mean you don't have to do it, because you can test things so inexpensively.
Yes.
Test those. And we've had some ideas that were really dumb, I thought, that we've tested that are now $1 million businesses, million plus. One idea alone was worth $25 million to my partners and I. So, you never know, but you got to test it to see. And then I got to tell you, I had some ideas that I was pounding the desk, and they were phenomenal. And you know what? The market told me particularly, that we were wrong. Number 4, intentional. This is, we all have to design our lives to be successful on purpose. And one of the things, and and we all have different families and so on. I mean, Shelby, I was so impressed with 5 kids, how relaxed you were on this whole part in building, a phenomenal business as well. I felt like a slacker a little bit along the way.
No.
The idea here is, design our lives on purpose and, simple and elegant. The terminology I always like is get on the right side of complexity, that simple. So we start initially, we think it's simple because we're ignorant. Then the market kind of hits us with a 2x4 and we all of a sudden start doing all kinds of things and it's complex. Then we all reach a point where it becomes simple and elegant. And that's really what, everything in your life, we want to have that close to perfection. We're never going to attain it, but working toward that. And the last part, boy, let's have gratitude. We live in a world of abundance. We can make a huge difference. One of the things that I love about all our businesses is we get to do well by doing well by others. So Shelby, thank you very much for joining us today and really sharing the wisdom. Again, everyone, aesnation.com, go to the show notes, the links. Make sure to execute. Your current clients and your future clients are counting on you. We wish you the best of success.
Thanks so much.
Exceptional, remarkable breakthroughs. aesnation.com